Hello again and welcome to another edition of Southern Country. Hi, I'm Herb Southern and welcome to the show, my friends. Today we're in Kutztown, Pennsylvania at the Kutztown Airport. There's a lot of activity going on here today. And Earl is the president of Kutztown Airport and he's going to tell us all about the activity that takes place today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you.
What's going on?
Vintage days.
Explain.
Well, vintage airplanes, vintage gliders, vintage tractors, vintage automobiles, hit and miss engines, anything that's vintage we're trying to build up and bring to Kutztown Airport.
And it's been a big, fabulous turnout so far?
Oh yes, yep. Terrific. We started out Friday, working at it Saturday, Sunday, and we're going to do it again tomorrow, Monday.
Rides are all available in what?
Oh yeah, we have rides in regular small airplanes. As you can see, the one behind us, the biplane, the Waco. We give glider rides, single and two people at the same time.
Did anybody ever do wing walking on these?
Oh no, not on this one. The wings are fabric, they're cloth.
In the old days, I thought they wing walked on them.
Oh, some of them, yeah. They put wood on it. And
yeah,
yes,
sure. Well, we're going to walk around here and see what's going on. And thank you for allowing me to be here today. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And we're going to walk around and check out the airplanes and the tractors and whatever else you have here.
Terrific. Thank you very much for coming.
It's my pleasure. Nathan, tell me about this McCormick. It's a 1020 I read in the back.
It's a 1927 McCormick Deering. It was restored by my grandfather, Irvin Seidel. When he found it, it was up to mud into about here. And he pulled it out and restored it and painted it. It's original engine and everything's original. It's missing the side plates. They're an add-on feature that we don't have yet, but we're trying to find them. And we're out here for vintage days, and they wanted an antique tractor to pull antique gliders.
So you hear? What year is that?
1927.
Wow, that's one of the early McCormick Deering.
Yes, sir.
And how many horsepower?
10 to 20. 20 on the pulley and 10 on the drawbar.
Drawbar. That's how they rated them in those days.
Pretty much, and they fluctuate as they get older. So.
Right. And how long have you been driving this thing?
Since I was about 5 years old.
Okay.
So, quite a few years.
Quite a few years. Have you ever worked it in the field or just for show?
It's worked very occasionally just because of its age. We don't like to work it so hard, but it does still work and it does its job.
Good shape, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, Nathan, thank you very much. Dean is with me now. Dean, welcome to Southern Country. You have a very unusual glider behind us. Talk to me about that.
Well, this is a 1941. It's called a Frankfurt Cinema B. It's the sole remaining example in the country. They were designed back in the late 30s by a famous race pilot named Stan Corcoran. Back in the early days of soaring, there simply weren't any factories that you could go out and buy your own glider, and there were several noted people in the nation that were quite involved with the soaring development. And of course, Mr. Corcoran designed and built this and later became a very famous race pilot.
Now, how many were built like this?
There were, I would say, probably about 25 of this particular example prior to World War II.
Tell me something unusual about this, how old it is and how long you've had it, and what's in between this one and new ones.
Well, I was very fortunate to get this aircraft. I got it from our past Vintage Sailplane Association president, Bob Gaines, down in Atlanta, who used to fly this aircraft as a young lad 40-some years ago. Wow. So I bought this approximately 3 years ago. I've been quite busy restoring the thing. It's restored totally original. I went through all the documentation. We restored it exactly the way it was originally restored.
Now this had instruments in it too, you said?
Yeah, there are several instruments in there. Of course, almost all gliders will have to have an airspeed because airspeed is very, very critical on your glide performance. You should have an altimeter to know how high you are. And there's another instrument called a variometer. That tells you whether you're ascending or descending. And then lastly, there's an old bubble face compass in here.
Now what's this thing on the front with the wing, with the slot, with the?
This is hooked up to all the instruments. It measures. It's called your PDOT and static tubes. That measures your dynamic pressure, your ram air, and also your static pressure, and that helps determine how high you are and how fast you're flying through the air.
Thank you very much, Dean. I really appreciate your time you spent with us. We're going to take a look at it.
Well, thank you for coming out to the glider port and enjoying these old treasures.
And my pleasure, sir. Well, Bob, tell us about this glider you're in. It's been a few years since you've been in here.
It's been many years. I bought this airplane from a club in St. Louis in about 1959. And we kept it at Little Rock, Arkansas, and flew it from there. For about 4 years, I was flying this airplane after I'd been on alert in the Air Force as a lieutenant. I was flying this airplane when the Cuban crisis started, and I had to hurry back and land, and they put the airplane away, and I was gone for about 2 weeks flying these old B-47s up to Louisville, Kentucky and Memphis, Tennessee to make more targets for the Russians.
Flying this thing is like putting on an old pair of shoes.
This thing is, I told Dean, I said, I'll probably cry when I'm up there.
A lot of memory here.
It's a lot of memories here that he doesn't even know this probably. I looped this thing, I remember. I would never do it now. It's too old and I'm too old. Had a lot of fun. There was an older lady, I used to take her up. Her husband would pay for the tow, and she got very quiet, and I turned around and she was asleep. I thought, well, that's nice. And yeah, it's just really, it's a really a sweet memory. And Dean
did a great job.
Dean Kramer's done a fantastic job. He bought this from me. I bought it back from the fellow I sold it to, and Dean bought it back from me, or bought it from me, and I definitely sold it to the right person.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. You did a great job. Well, good luck in the flight. We're going to watch you take off.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bob,
okay.
Thank you for being on the show. Bye-bye. I'm standing next to Jackie here. She's the traffic controller of Kutztown Airport. Is that the right title for you?
If it's pretty close. I'm doing ground control and, yeah, pretty close. Yeah, keeping everybody separated.
And you watch all the gliders go in, basically gliders, right?
Mostly, yes, because we are what we call notimed out, notices to airmen, that officially the airport is closed between 11 this morning and 6 this afternoon. And then the transient traffic be allowed back in. Right now it's mostly just gliders. It's all gliders, actually.
I see you here all afternoon running around here with, you know.
We have an assortment of gliders. We have vintage gliders here today.
I see that.
Yes, we have the vintage gliders. We have and our own Kutztown Airport gliders.
Now I see you with the motor planes too going. You're stopping them and going with the gliders, letting everybody go in and out.
Well, that's true. We're trying to keep everybody going. We've got the yellow Cub. It's doing bags of powder, flour, airdrops. So you go for a ride and drop these little paper bombs out with flour filled. And we have a jump plane that will be going up again somewhere. We had hoped around 3, but I guess it's maybe 3:30. We'll have, they're going to put a mark out there, and they're going to be landing on the airport.
I want to see that.
Yeah, that would be fun. They've not landed on this airport before because they have their own landing zone off the end of this runway. So
should be interesting.
Oh, it should be lots of fun.
You got a heck of a job, girl.
Oh, I think so. I think I've got the best job.
You're doing a great job. Congratulations.
I thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you for being on the show. Appreciate it. All right, my friends, I'm standing next to Mark. He's co-owner of the Kutztown Skydiving Center. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
I see a skydiving demo going on here. Tell us all about it, what you do, and how you got to be a skydiver.
Oh, okay, well, we're doing an exhibition jump here today, you know, because we have lots of spectators here. Let them introduce them to a skydive and see them land, you know, something close by that they can actually see. And right down the road from here, we run a skydiving center in school. We teach skydivers how to skydive as a sport, you know, to get their license, and also for the people who just want to try it once in their life.
How long does it take a person to become a good skydiver? How many jumps?
Well, to get a license, it takes 25 jumps. The most experienced jumper is what's called a D license. It's A through D, and a D license jumper has to have at least 500 jumps.
Now, how high do you have to go?
We usually go up to about 10,500 feet above the ground.
And it takes your breath away up there, doesn't it?
Oh, no, not really. It feels like you're floating in midair because there's nothing stationary in the air to reference to yourself that you're falling. It just feels like you're floating with a lot of wind blowing up against you.
Now, as a student, you're up there alone, or do you fly tandem?
We have different programs. We have a tandem where they're attached to their instructor, or you can do what's called an accelerated free fall. You have 2 jump masters, 2 instructors, one on each side of you to ensure you're stable during the free fall and to make sure you pull the ripcord when you're supposed to. If they don't, the instructors will, you know.
How long have you been skydiving?
In August, I make 31 years.
Wow. I don't want to ask this, but how many jumps have you made?
Actually, not that many. I have a little over 1,600.
Oh, my God. All over, right here in Pennsylvania, you skydived everywhere?
No, I skydived quite a few different places, North Carolina, or Colorado, even Berlin, Germany, Italy.
Where's the most beautiful place you ever skydived into?
Oh, I tell you what, Kutztown's got some beautiful countryside.
There you go. Thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate it. Thanks for being on the show. Appreciate it. Okay. Well, we're about ready to wrap up this edition of Southern Country. Earl, I had a pleasure, pal.
Thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate it.
Now, if people want to find out what's going on at Kutztown Airport, where do they can go on the internet?
Kutztownair.com. KutztownAir.com.
And that's easy enough to remember, and that'll tell everybody what's going on here, the activities. Do you have other activities going on?
Oh, yeah. This is the second annual one that we're having, like I said earlier.
Right.
We did it 20-some years ago. We're going to be doing it again next year. Memorial Day weekend.
There you go, Memorial Day weekend. Can't get a better time than that. Once again, I want to thank you for your hospitality, allowing us to walk around and take pictures of everything. And thank you very much.
My pleasure. Hope you enjoyed yourself.
See you next year.
Thank you very much.
Okay, my pleasure.